Hour News is brought to you by Alive.
Believe in best.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Andrew Knowles, and thanks so much for joining us. The country recording its highest single-day COVID-19 death toll on Friday, with Auckland now recording its first case. The Ministry of Health confirming 5 additional deaths, bringing the death toll to 27. The ministry says 4 of these latest deaths are COVID-19 related. Among the victims are a 71-year-old female along with another female of New Providence, a 54-year-old Abaco female, and a 45-year-old male of Eleuthera. The first 2 deaths of this second wave were recorded on July 30th. Since that time, health officials say there have been 16 deaths within 7 weeks. The country's case fatality rate now stands at 1.58%. Health officials also reporting 93 additional confirmed cases last evening, 63 in New Providence, pushing the capital beyond the 1,000 case mark with 1,013 cases alone. Of the remaining cases, 19 are on Grand Bahama, 2 on Inagua, and 1 case each on the Berry Islands, Abaco, and Auckland, which now records its first case. As a result, the Prime Minister imposing the 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew on Auckland and Crooked Island. Health officials are said to be monitoring 4 suspected cases on Auckland and 3 on Crooked Island. The Bahamas now has 1,703 cases, 1,450 of which are active. There are 77 people in hospital and 221 people have recovered. Meantime, the Ministry of Health is expected to provide further information on the latest COVID-19 deaths during a press conference on Monday. Well, nurses mourning the loss of one of their own tonight after a staff nurse at Sandilands Rehabilitation Center died from COVID-19. Members of the Bahamas Nurses Union expressing sadness over the passing of Bernadette Roll, a mother of 2, as they held a sign outside of Sandilands this morning that read, "Nurses' Lives Matter." Union President Amantia Williams sounding the alarm to government that enough is enough.
She was exposed on the job and was left home to self-care for herself, like many of nurses are doing today. We say to this government, enough is totally enough. As of today, if things ain't right, you could assure every nurse in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas will be sitting underneath the tree effective of today. Prime Minister, we're tired. Minister of Health, we're tired.
More than a dozen nurses at Sandilands called in sick on Thursday amid concerns of COVID-19 exposure at the facility. Williams says they will continue to advocate for more testing.
Testing takes up to 7 to 10 days. Nurses are quarantined up to 14 days and still don't know. But you've tested the patient, all the patients on the ward, and you know their status, and you don't know the nurse status? That who's going to patient and taking care of the patient? What's the logical in it?
The Public Hospitals Authority also confirming the death of staff nurse Bernadette Roll. Roll was a staff member of the PHA for 14 years and was deployed to the male ward of Sandilands. She was being treated at the South Beach COVID-19 Center at the time of her death. In a statement, Sandilands Hospital Administrator Mary Walker described the loss as a blow to the Sandilands family. She said the sacrifices being made by frontline workers to provide care cannot be overstated, adding that she hopes members of the public will see the need for the public to partner with those in healthcare to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Well, Health Minister Renwood Wells also offering his sympathies on the death of Nurse Roll. In a statement, Wells expressed appreciation for the brave warrior from the front line. He said the nation is grateful for her service. Former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands also paying tribute. In a Facebook post, Dr. Sands said the death of Bernadette Roll reminds us of the price that healthcare workers pay in the battle against COVID-19 in the Bahamas. He said he was privileged to know her as she was a resident of his constituency. He cautioned that as we fight this virus, to practice universal precautions. The newly constructed infectious disease unit at the Rand Memorial Hospital in Grand Bahama is expected to be up and running by next month. That's according to State Minister for Disaster Preparedness, Iram Lewis, who got a chance to tour the facility on Friday and take a look at the progress.
We're happy to state now that we are at this stage. The work is now about a week old, and we have another 4 or 5 days. By Wednesday the 28th, we should be finished with that. The contractors will come in and start from the round and put in their finished equipment and set up their final furnitures, and that unit should be able to go online.
The unit would house 7 isolation rooms in addition to facilities for staff to shower and for sanitization. Lewis says plans are already in the works to expand.
We're experiencing a spike right now, so we have to continue to push to ensure that our facilities are ready. In the event that we continue to experience it, we'll at least have the capacity in Bahama to be able to treat some of our COVID-19 patients. It is definitely required, and because of the nature of this disease and any other infectious disease, so we had to take our time and ensure that it was done right. And the way it's designed and being constructed, this should be at the highest level anywhere in this region.
The state minister also viewed the progress of renovations to the operating rooms at the RAND.
We are in the operating suite right now, standing in the suite, and we have 2 major theater rooms. We have a minor surgical ward, we have the prep area, the decontamination area, the nurses station, observation room, recovery area. This was the top of the line 4 years ago, and as it's being restored right now, I believe this will still be perhaps top of the line in the Caribbean region. It is very important, and this section received not as much damage as the other part of the hospital, but understanding how important this is to our medical services, focus was given to reinsuring that this was reinstated, or to assuring that this was reinstated, so that in the event that we have the need for surgeries, minor or major, we have the capacity in Bahama to do it.
From the crime beat tonight, police continuing investigations into a shooting here in the capital that's left 1 man nursing wounds in hospital. The incident occurred Friday at a home in Garden Hills. Police say 2 men got into an argument while at a friend's house. One of the men left and returned a short while later with a firearm and shot at the man. The victim was taken to hospital, where at last report he was listed in stable condition. Well, still ahead for us tonight, a prominent QC looks to represent a group of protesters, and we'll tell you about several lawyers who are looking to help those who are arrested during the emergency orders.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
Next tonight, attorney Wayne Monroe, who now represents a group of protesters who were arrested on Tuesday, is seeking to avoid his clients being formally arraigned in a magistrate's court next week. Our Jasmine Brown explains.
QC Wayne Monroe represents nearly 30 protesters who were arrested Tuesday morning for a breach of the emergency orders. Dozens of people participated in a protest near Windsor Park on East Street that morning. They had intended to march to Bay Street in protest of Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis' swiftly implemented 7-day lockdown of New Providence. During the standoff between police and protesters and area residents, tensions ran high and a police vehicle was damaged. He says his clients, who include march organizers, never meant for anything to get out of control.
They don't want that peaceful protest overtaken by any persons who are trying to hijack it for wrongful purpose.
Those protesters were released on police bail the same day they were arrested.
The case is set to go to court the 27th.
Earlier this week, Monroe announced he planned on taking legal action on his client's behalf, but he now says he is looking to avoid his clients from ever seeing the inside of a courtroom.
Happy to report that it is very likely that we're going to be able to resolve the matter without those individuals having to go to court.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A group of concerned attorneys have formed a coalition to assist those who have been found in breach of the COVID-19 emergency orders. The attorneys that include Wayne Monroe, Bijan Ferguson, Damian White, Claude Hanna, and others say they are of the view that the emergency orders that impose the curfew are unconstitutional.
Well, there's a group of lawyers, 22 in all. We have a WhatsApp group called Justice League Bahamas.
The COVID-19 emergency orders were implemented by the Minnis administration as a means to help curb the spread of the COVID-19, but the attorneys say the orders have trampled on the rights of everyday residents due to the restrictions. They say they are looking to help those who feel like they've been wronged.
With anyone else who may feel that they in a particular bind, they could contact us and we'll assist as best possible.
When our news, the weekend edition, comes back from the break, find out why fishermen believe they should be considered as essential workers.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
Welcome back to our news, the weekend edition. The director of a group that advocates for the rights of fishermen is calling for them to be deemed as essential workers. Paul Malis of the National Fisheries Association of the Bahamas says the work fishermen do is vital and ought to be treated as such in the emergency orders.
Fishing needs to be deemed an essential service. Fishermen need to be able to move as if they were essential workers. Yes, fishing is a business. It's not like you're a nurse. It's not like you're a doctor. No. But food supply is critical. And throughout the legislation, farm workers have been given the right to access their farms to tend to their crops and their livestock. But fishing is not viewed the same way.
Miller says fishermen have been disappointed by their treatment during the pandemic. Orders passed by the competent authority have allowed fishermen to go out on waters, but only allows them to sell to processing plants. The competent authorities' no-notice lockdown would have also seen fishermen forced to stay on land, and Melis says that's a concern if another total lockdown is implemented.
People have fish pots out there. People have lobster traps out there. Those things have live animals in them that are going to die if you don't harvest them, and it's going to be a wasted product. So we need certainty in the fishing sector, and we need fresh seafood to be coming in so that people who don't buy many of the products at the food stores or don't have access to good seafood at the food stores or don't want to buy from the processing houses, they like to support their neighbor. They like to support their family, and they want to buy fresh from people as they come off the boat.
Miller says the strict rules only force struggling fishermen to operate illegally.
Fishermen were very limited by where they could sell their wares, and they had to basically operate black market.
Up next, Rotary teams up with AML Foods to lend a helping hand. So stay with us.
Rev up on the next promotion? Okay. Nice.
Bye. Bye. You give up it.
Best 2 out of 3.
Sign up for Rev Trio and opt in to NBA League Pass absolutely free. Visit rev.bs or call 601-8992 for details. Rev, you and us, together.
With hundreds out of work and in need of assistance, the Rotary Club of Old Fort Bay has partnered with AML Foods to lend a hand. President Odette Carey said the Rotary Club of Old Fort Bay has placed a food bank at the exit of Solomon's Fresh Market, Harbor Bay, and Old Fort Bay. The goal is to collect 200 food items per week to donate to the Bahamas Feeding Network.
If there's any perishable items that they have to spare, we just ask that they drop it in the food bank. Obviously, we'll be checking the food bank often and making sure that All the items that are collected, they're distributed to the Bahamas Feeding Network. So that is a big important point. We're actually using this to support and drive further goods for the Bahamas Feeding Network.
Harry said the box will be there as long as there is need for food supplies. AML's marketing manager, Melissa Major, said they were excited to partner and give back to the community. They've been advertising the food box on their social media pages, and Major said it's all in an effort to ensure that no one goes hungry.
This is an opportunity for us to give back and an opportunity definitely for us to assist our community. Right now, we don't necessarily know how long this is going to last. However, we are fully committed to making sure that the box is here, it's operational, and as many people we can help. That's the end goal in terms of, giving back and making sure that, nobody goes hungry and everybody gets definitely what it is that they need during this time.
Well, that's a look at stories making news this evening, but stay tuned. Our weekend weather forecast is coming up.
Thanks, Andrew. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your look at weather. We continue to watch Tropical Storm Laura churning its way across Hispaniola this evening with wind speeds of 40 miles per hour. We expect Laura to continue on its northwest track while moving across Hispaniola tonight and interacting with the mountains moving just south of Inagua and the Turks and Caicos early on Sunday. Laura will continue to track northwest across Cuba while staying south of the Bahamas. Tropical storm conditions will begin across the southern islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands tonight and continue through tomorrow with conditions spreading across the central Bahamas Monday. Tropical storm force winds extend outwards up to 205 miles from the center. Warnings still remain in effect for the central and southeastern Bahamas as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands, and a watch continues for the northwest Bahamas. Laura is still expected to become a hurricane late Monday into Tuesday, well west of the islands, as it moves into the Gulf of Mexico. We're asking all residents to continue to monitor progress of this system through the remainder of the weekend. That's your look at weather. Make it a great night, everyone.
And that's going to do it for us on a Saturday night. I'm Andrew Knowles. For all of us here at Our News, thanks so much for watching. Let's remember to be safe and look out for each other. Have a great evening.